Sorry for overrun a bit, but I'm sure you have during lunch you have catch up with each other and update each other on your progress. And in this today's morning, we have learned a few things, right? Firstly, learn about Microsoft's approach to advance the technology era to all of us. Secondly, we learn about the concepts and the technologies behind artificial intelligence through the mobile robocar simulation game. So that's quite an insight, right? And especially when we actually see the real robocar from Damien, and it actually knows how to turn left, turn right, and do all the right things. So I hope your eyes are inspired. So in the afternoon, we will have 3 other sessions. Firstly is during the day you will learn about a lot of technologies, how we can benefit from the latest technologies. But on the other side, there are also potentials, hazards, dangers behind each technology. So we will investigate into that and see what's the opportunity and also the threat behind social media platforms like Facebook, like IG, Instagram, so that you can pick and select the correct information and digest effectively rather than agreeing with everything that the internet says, okay? So let me introduce the founder of Radly Social Media, Ho-Yin Chen, to give us a presentation. Please welcome Ho-Yin.
You guys hear me? You guys hear me? Okay, good. So, my name is Ho-Yin. I took a brief look at what you guys were learning this morning about machine learning and AI. That sounds some pretty hardcore, really, really edgy stuff. I don't even know too much about it, so I'm really happy that you guys got to learn that. Today, even though it's called Information Diet, but I really want to talk about how social media is affecting us all and how do we actually navigate through it, because I'm sure as you guys all have cell phones, have mobile phones, you guys are all using different types of social media. So before I start, I want to get a show of hands. Put your hand up if you use Snapchat. Let's see, we've got, okay, maybe 10%. Okay, put your hand up if you use Instagram. More, almost 80%. Okay, put your hand up if you use Facebook. Okay, some of you do, some of you don't. Okay, cool, it's about 50-50. So right now, what I do is I'm a social media agency. Let me see if this works. So a little bit about me. So I run a social media software agency. We create social media software to help brands grow their Instagram followers. So I primarily work around Instagram. And I help brands from Lane Crawford to Fuji to whatever brand that you see out there increase their presence on social media. And because I do that, this is just a slide to show how we've increased the rate over a month. But the main reason why is because brands want to reach out to you so that you know about their brands and they want you to buy their stuff. So because I know how to use social media to reach people, I also know the tricks on how social media influences you, how it makes you exposed to it, how you make certain decisions, and how it slowly encourages you how to do certain things, whatever the brand wants or whatever they want to buy. So today, I'm going to tell you some industry secrets. I'm going to tell you how not to fall into these traps, how not to fall prey to some of these social media tricks that can potentially influence you so that you can think independently for yourselves. Bullet dodged. So, the first thing I'm going to talk about as the title of this talk is about information diet. So, the fact of the matter is, when you're on your phone and you're using Snapchat, Instagram, I'll tell you right now what Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, what they consider as successful. A post is successful. A post that is successful is something that gets a lot of clicks, a lot of likes, and a lot of comments. Do they care if it's good news or bad news? What do you think? Do you think they would care if it's good news or bad news? Just guess. You think that should be good news? Okay. Who else thinks that it has to be good news? Who thinks it could be bad news? Put your hand up if you think it could be bad news. Okay. So it turns out they kind of don't care. It could be good news, get clicks, great. If it's bad news, like something controversial, something, bad news like somebody got run over by a car and it gets a lot of clicks, they actually don't care. As long as it gets engagement, that's all they care. It means that people are using the platform. I like your photo, I comment on it, I follow you, they care about those actions. They're trying to maximize your engagement on the platform. So, I'm going to give you an example of how it is. Now, who here, does anybody know who Donald Trump is?
President of US now.
Good. And does anybody know who Obama is?
The former president of US.
Okay, good. So, do you guys know that Obama and Donald Trump, are they part of the same party? Like the same dong? Or are they a different party? Okay, let me say, same or different?
Different.
Different, okay. So, Obama is part of Democrats or liberals. Trump is part of conservative, which is the Republican Party. Two opposing parties in the United States. Now, what happens in the United States, and it also happens in Hong Kong, is if I like and follow like Obama-related tweets or Obama-related Facebook, posts about Facebook, Facebook actually sees that, hey, you like political stuff on this side. I'm going to show you more stuff like that because I know you like it. So what ends up happening is they just keep on showing stuff that you like. And what ends up happening is you get into a bubble and you don't see what's on the other side. Now that's what social media does. It just remembers what you clicked on and just keeps throwing you the same stuff. You like to drink orange juice? I'm going to give you more orange juice. You don't like dogs? Okay, I'm not going to show you dogs. You don't like cats? All right, I'm not going to show you cats. So what that means is that the way how Facebook and social media is that it puts you in a bubble for where it is, and keeps feeding you the same stuff. Okay, who can tell me what this is? Does anybody remember what happened here?
TikTok.
Okay, good. Occupy Central, right? So Occupy Central was a huge social media event. So many people were involved, both on the student side, both also on the other side of the anti-Occupy. A lot of things were happening, and it's two competing opinions. People who they want freedom from students, and other people who want the current system to stay the same, or they're pro-China. Now, what the problem, and I'm not here to talk about politics, I'm just here to say what happened and how to make sure that when you approach these issues, you fully understand them. So I'm going to play this video here quickly. So, okay, do you think people were cooperating then? Yes or no? They were cooperating. They loved each other. They did not love each other. So, do you think they were communicating? Yes, I'm going to pick on you. Do you think they were communicating very well? No, they weren't. They were arguing, right? So one of the biggest challenges is when people they don't see the opposing side, they start to become very ingrained, or they get stuck with their own ideology, right? They don't see the other side. They don't see the other side because all they're seeing on Facebook is pro-Occupy, or what they always see on Facebook is anti-Occupy. And they fail to see different sides of the issue and why they are. So I'm going to show you something else here. If you actually look at the people who supported or not supported, I'll just give you the summary. The people who supported it, funny enough, used more internet, you can see here. People who opposed it used less internet. They didn't use it as much. They both pretty much used the same amount of Facebook, but the political mobilization for people who supported it was much higher. So obviously people that supported it were probably much younger in age. But the internet usage is different. But what that means is that when people get their information, right now social media, it allows you to know everything, allows you to know a lot of things. But the problem with social media is it gives it to you in a very, very small scope. It's just like one little tunnel. So it's very easy to not see the entire picture. And that's actually really important. Because when you want to understand an issue, when you want to understand what's going on, you actually have to understand the whole breadth. If you don't understand my own position, and I don't talk to you about what you think in your position, and we disagree, we won't be able to figure out what that problem is and how to resolve it. So it's very important. So here's kind of like the key thing. You have to actively seek opinions from all sides. When you receive information, especially on the internet, on Facebook, don't just take it from one side. Actively seek what other people are thinking and make sure that you at least consider it and at least be aware of it. Second thing, actually, you should limit the amount of news. It should limit the amount of information that you receive. Sometimes, right nowadays, there's too much information. There's too much news. There's a lot of noise. It's actually better to limit it only on the things that really, really matter and that are really, really important to you or important to society or important to your family. There's no point in getting everything and reading it all because at the end of the day, it's just noise. It's just a lot of stuff that's not really relevant. So don't be overloaded. It ends up maybe confusing you. All right, I'm gonna talk about cyberbullying. Does anybody know what happened here?
Taiwan's correct.
Sorry?
The flag of Taiwan.
Flag of Taiwan? Who is she?
She's Taiwanese. She's a singer in a South Korean band.
Yes. Have you guys heard of Twice?
Oh, yeah.
She's a singer in Twice. So she put a flag in a Taiwan flag. It was some promotional thing. And this is what happened. So there were some people in mainland China that saw this, and they're frankly very pissed off. They called her a traitor. They called her non-Chinese. Used very foul language. They weren't very nice. Just because she had a Taiwan flag. Because the internet is public, as all you guys know, people can basically say whatever they want. They can say good things, and they can say bad things. And because I can say a bad thing to you, and you're like, it's not like as if you're right next to me, and I can say you, and I can see that you're pissed off. But if you're over somewhere else, and I say something bad to you, it doesn't really matter, right? Like you won't come over to my house and be like, hey, you said something bad to me, so I'm gonna throw water on you or something. That's not gonna happen. You're too far away. So you have the tendency to be very easily negative. In English, this is called trolling. So what ended up happening was this.
非常非常的抱歉，也很愧疚。我决定终止目前中国一切的活动，认真反省，再次的向大家道歉，对不起。
So what ended up happening was that her company, JYP, which is basically her agency, it got so bad that they couldn't even go to China to do business. Like they couldn't even go there. The Chinese government kind of said some things bad about it. It became a political issue basically. And Twice is a relatively well-known band, so they were like, well, I can't just give up on the Chinese market, so she had to do what she had to do. And so what the point here is that when you start sharing information, you're basically exposing yourself to attack, actually. Like you're basically, so what she experienced is actually what most celebrities experience. When you're a celebrity, you're more exposed. So people will hate you. Some people will like you, some people will hate you. And how a lot of these celebrities do is they just don't read the hateful comments. They actually just ignore it. They just ignore it. Because they know that if they read it, they get depressed. They just feel like crap. They don't want to make themselves feel bad. Why would you do that? But of course, people do that. They do read it. Now, in your case, you're not in a position where you're used to that. So when you share, and some people start attacking you and start reading those comments, it starts getting into your head. Oh my gosh, all these people hate me. But only the bad people say things. Good. If I didn't care about the flag or anything, I'm not going to say anything. So you end up only seeing the negative comments. You never see the positive. So you only see one side. So when you share things, you're exposing yourself to people judging you, to people not liking you because of whatever reason, your race, your look, your sex, gender, or they just feel insecure. Like themselves, they don't feel happy about themselves. They like to write hateful things to others. You expose yourself to that. Careful, be very careful what you share. Sharing leads to exposure. If you share, just share with your friends. Don't share it publicly. People will know things about you that you may not want them to know. And that's not to say that sometimes you share things and there's a lot of you share this, hey, I went on a trip with this friend, and this other friend was like, oh, hey, how come you didn't invite me to that trip? There's a lot of those type of things that happen. Sharing tends to, you just have to be very smart and be very careful. There are many trolls on the internet. There are many people that just waste your time. They want to waste your time. So just ignore them. All right. Here's another case. Who remembered this piece of news that happened like a few years back? Who remembered this? Do you ever remember this? Okay, not many people do. Okay, so I'm gonna have to pick on somebody to see if they remember. I'm gonna pick on somebody. Hi, sir. Do you remember what happened? No? Okay. I'm gonna give you a free pass. You get to choose one other person to answer this question, and it can be a mentor. So you go ahead and choose which person is gonna answer this question. Go ahead. No pressure. Yeah, is that anyway? It doesn't have to be a student, it can be a mentor. So you don't have to. So very safe. Okay. Do you know? Do you know what happened here? Do you remember? Or you can just read it. Do you remember what happened? All right, so she passes on to another mentor. All right. You gave it to the one person that cannot read Chinese. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I work in the news and all this. So Jackson, I think, I can't. So this is Asia TV, I watch on Asia.
Asia TV.
Yeah, it's Asia TV. They reported that he was dead.
That's right.
Must have been reports online of like cars going into the hospital.
Yeah. So Jiang Zemin, the previous leader of the Chinese Republic, they reported that he passed away, that he died. And all the major news outlets said, "Oh, hey guys, he died. This is a big deal." But in fact, he didn't die. It was just a bunch of cars going in, and people made some assumptions, and it wasn't real. Now, this was a major news outlet too that made a mistake. Now, this is a mistake, but the fact is that nowadays, manufacturing news is actually really cheap. It's not that hard. It's really easy to make news that it's just not true. This is a good example. They didn't do their homework. They didn't actually go and ask the right people and make sure that was like that. I'm not saying all journalists are like that, but it's getting increasingly difficult now for journalists and media to fully ascertain if it's really real or not. But not only that, they're competing with a lot of other news channels that are semi-real, that you're not sure if they're real, and that can start confusing you. So my point is that you can't actually believe everything that you read online. Is that surprising to you? You actually can't, you shouldn't believe everything you read. If you do, you just have to make sure that it's trusted, a trusted source, and make sure that multiple trusted sources actually say it's real, not just one. But you have to be very, make sure that multiple sources that say that. So do not believe everything that you read. Use your own judgment. Don't just take it in like water. Actually look at it and make sure that it makes sense. And also, confirm news from multiple sources. So that also brings on to another point, which we talked about, which is your privacy. So your privacy is actually your greatest asset. It's actually super, super valuable. Because if people know where you live, I can go to your house and actually go and harass you and do stuff. If I know you go to a certain school, I can actually go to that school and figure out. There's a lot of things that actually can be dangerous to you as a person if you easily let people know about this stuff. So, does anybody remember this internet meme? Who has seen this internet meme? Can you put your hand up? Okay, some of you guys have seen it. All right. So this woman, this poor woman, basically, she's Taiwanese, and she took this family photo, but guess what? This wasn't even a real family photo. It was actually for an ad. But she just took the family photo, and they kind of did some photoshopping in here, and then they said that she did plastic surgery, and then when they had kids, the kids didn't really look like her, so then the husband sued her and said that you took plastic surgery and you don't actually look like who you do, and our kids are not anywhere close to what you look like. So basically you're lying to me. That was the news that came out about this picture.
When I got these commercial and advertisement assignments, I was 2 years into my movement. I had a rough idea of what it was about, but I was told the photo would only be used in print media and for one company. I didn't know that it would be used so widely on the internet and that there would be so many made-up stories about it. The caption on the original ad said, "The only thing you'll ever have to worry about is how to explain it to the kids." The children in the photo were photoshopped. They don't look like that in real life. Later, people made up a story about the woman in the picture and spread it on the internet. They said her husband figured out she had lied to him about not having had plastic surgery done after the kids were born because they didn't look anything like her. Then he sued her and won. When a friend told me about this, I thought it was just rumors. Then I realized the whole world was spreading the story and in different languages. People actually believed it and thought this had happened to me. Even my relatives and fiance's family have asked me about it. This has totally affected my work. People refuse to believe that I have never had plastic surgery. After this, I only got small roles in advertisements. Because of what has happened, I haven't been able to sleep well, and I've broken down many times, crying. I keep thinking, why is this happening to me? I decided to speak out because I wanted to give myself some courage to deal with this problem. I can't bear to look at the picture. I hope it will not appear.
So this is an example where, like, people can take whatever it is, your privacy, or even in this case, it was just an ad of her, and actually turn it entirely into something else. And the internet is actually a pretty ruthless place, I gotta be honest with you. It's very ruthless. So they can take things and spin it around, and people just carry it on. And the reason, you know what the biggest reason why this picture became so interesting is because it was controversial. It was a woman who got plastic surgery and the guy sued her. It's not even true. It doesn't matter. See, it doesn't matter if it's true. It's clickable. Oh wow, I want to click on this story. This story is interesting. So the more clicks it gets, the more that it spreads. And that's how the internet works. That's how virality is. They don't care if it's for a good reason or for bad. They care because people find it interesting, right? So privacy is super important. Is super important in a sense where not only do you have to post it with your friends and family, you just got to be really careful because people can use your photo and use it for something else, and you don't even know about it. They won't ask you for permission. They'll say, "Hey, can I use your photo? Is that okay?" Nobody's going to ask you that. Just going to take it and use it for something else. There's no rules. It's probably some person in Saudi Arabia. They're not going to care about you. So you got to be very precious with your personal information so that people don't take advantage of it. Really, really careful. Okay, a little about fraud and trust. So, yeah, I mean, it is quite easy to get scammed. Not to say it happens often, but there's a lot of people who try to take advantage of that. So I'm going to give you another example here. Let's go back to the beginning.
你好，呢度係順豐快遞客服中心，你有一封重要快件向你領取，如需查詢請按您。您好，这里是顺丰快递客服中心，你有一封重要的快件尚未领取，如需查询请按铃。在追踪顺丰后。你好。
So you guys probably heard about a lot of these phone calls that you've gotten. Has anybody gotten these phone calls before? Who's gotten a phone call like this? Some students? Any students? Okay. So this phone call was trying to tell you that you had a fine, and you had to pay up that fine, and the Chinese government wanted you for whatever documentation reasons or whatever. So we've heard, maybe you guys have heard of this call, but this call happened a lot, and they found your phone number to call. So I just want to say that there's a lot of people who will find your phone number. They probably find it online, and that you need to be very careful about that. I'll give you another example here. So this one was a case where an 18-year-old girl met a guy in Hong Kong on a Tinder date. Do you guys know what the app Tinder app is? Does anybody know what? Does anybody, I'm not gonna ask you guys if you used it. I'm gonna ask you if you know about it. Does anybody know what? Who knows what Tinder is? Put your hand up. Don't worry, I'm not judging you that you used it. I'm just saying if you've heard of it. Okay. The Tinder app is to date and to meet people. You won't need it yet. You may need it later in the future. Don't worry about it. But this girl, 18 years old, went on a Tinder date with this guy. This guy was, I believe he was like in his 20s, 25 or something like that. They met up somewhere, and it wasn't a good ending. And she became very sad, and then attempted to suicide. Now, this is really important. Meeting people through online, obviously, is just not safe. It's not dangerous. This is very dangerous. So you have to be extremely careful. And I know, I'm pretty sure I'm probably preaching to the choir, meaning that you guys already know that. But sometimes people can sound nice. They sound like the best person in the world. You know for sure there's nothing wrong, but in actual fact, you don't know. So they're very easy to, their whole job is to make sure that you feel like you can trust them. So here's some other examples. This is like a WhatsApp version of it. This one's actually I had a few friends that fell into this. So like they would ask you for your 6-digit code for your WhatsApp or something, and then they would take your 6-digit code, and then they would hack into your WhatsApp. So I just want to let you know, in actual fact, people think that people can actually hack, like I take your phone and I can hack into it. Actually, most people who hack in your phone, that doesn't happen. There's not some person behind the computer that's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna hack into your phone, blah, blah, blah. No. The biggest way of hacking is what is called social engineering, which means I take your passcode and I ask you and you give it to me. For some reason, I was able to trick you. Like, I'm your friend, I pretend to be your friend, I had to pretend to be an IT person that's trying to fix your phone, or some company, you guys probably won't know this, but when you work at a company, there'll be like an IT department that's in charge of like your phone and stuff like that. And they'll say, oh, hey, can I get your password into your email, like your company email? Because I need to fix something, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, oh, okay. And you give it. And you think it's from the company. But in actual fact, they're not. They're actually some random dude, and he just found you, and then he just tried to play you. So this is really common, so you just gotta be really careful. Ignore them if you don't know them, and you just gotta make sure that they're actually people that you know. Yeah, just make sure that there are people that you know. Be careful with strangers you meet on the internet. And that's it. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody want to share stories? I don't need to hear Tinder stories today. That's okay. No Tinder stories. Okay? All right. Well, if you have any questions, I'll be at the back. And thank you so much for listening. Thank you.
Thank you so much for holding again.